You're back in your car. The engine's off, but you haven't moved yet. The party ended 20 minutes ago, and you're still sitting in the dark. Replaying the moment your voice cracked mid-sentence. The half-second pause where no one laughed. The introduction where you forgot someone's name and watched their face flicker. The real event is over. The trial in your head is just beginning. And this trial has a very specific charge. You were nervous, and it showed. You weren't as smooth as you wanted to be. So you file the moment under a familiar label. Awkward, socially anxious, just not good at this. You're both the prosecutor and the accused, and the verdict lands somewhere in your chest before you even start the engine. By the time you're staring at the ceiling, the label has hardened into something bigger than the night. It's no longer about what happened. It's become a statement about who you are. That label starts scripting your life. Tuesday afternoon, someone invites you for casual drinks. By Tuesday evening, you're standing in front of your closet building a suit of armor. Something that says competent. Something that says unshakable. Something that hides the part of you that might tremble. You rehearse lines for conversations that haven't happened yet. And if you can't guarantee you'll perform well enough, the phone stays on the table. The invitation gets declined. The quiet of your own room becomes a different kind of proof. Not sanctuary, but evidence that you're failing at something everyone else seems to do effortlessly. Social life has become a test you're doomed to fail, unless you can finally delete every trace of nervousness from your system. But something doesn't add up. You've watched other people fumble, and something strange happened. They didn't lose the room. A colleague stumbled through a presentation, visibly sweating, and somehow felt more accessible afterward. A friend spilled a bit of their drink mid-story and laughed at themselves, and you felt yourself relax toward them. Someone admitted they were nervous on a first date, and you respected them more for saying it. You've felt this your whole life. Blunders creating warmth. Imperfections inviting closeness. Yet when you do the math on your own situation, you're still running the old equation. Imperfection equals rejection. What if that equation is wrong? What if your nervousness isn't a performance failure, but a signal, one that others have been reading completely differently than you think? Here's what the social brain actually scans for. Not polish. Safety. Perfection is ambiguous. It could be competence, or it could be concealment. When someone is too smooth, too rehearsed, too unshaken, something ancient in us doesn't know what to make of it. We can't tell if they're skilled or hiding. But when someone shows a small, unpolished edge, a slight tremor in the voice, a moment of visible effort, an acknowledgement that this situation matters to them, the signal resolves into something clear. No threat. This person isn't performing dominance. They're letting something real leak through. And that leak reads as honesty, as care. It says, "You matter enough to make me nervous." This flips the entire story. The thing you've been calling social weakness is actually one of the few signals that reliably communicate sincerity. You've been treating your anxiety like a leak you have to plug, when it's actually a window. And the people you most want to connect with don't feel pushed away by that window. They feel invited to stop performing too. Now consider what the old strategy has cost you. You thought the work was to eliminate nervousness and appear flawless. But flawless often reads as distant, rehearsed, untouchable. So the more effort you put into hiding, the more you blocked the very signal that builds trust. The dinner you didn't attend because you couldn't guarantee you'd be sharp. The friendship that slowly faded because you kept canceling until they stopped asking. The moment someone reached toward you and you couldn't let them see you unguarded. And then you blamed yourself for the distance that followed. You called yourself broken while you were quietly broadcasting one of the most human, most connecting signals a person can send. A decades-long war waged against your own instinct to connect, fought hardest in that dark car, in those ceiling-staring nights. And you've been calling the fighting self-awareness. You don't need to become someone else. You need a different way of reading yourself when the old sensations arrive. Next time your heart beats faster before you speak, don't call that system failure. Call it data. It means you're in a situation that holds value for you. It means your body is orienting toward connection, not away from it. The same physical signal you used to call anxiety can be read as alertness, engagement, presence. This isn't about pretending to be confident. It's about no longer mistaking sincerity for incompetence. What if social ability isn't the skill of appearing unshaken, but the willingness to be seen while shaking? Real connection has never required you to become a flawless performer. It has only ever asked you to show up as someone who cares enough to be affected by the moment. Next time your hand trembles slightly holding the cup, or your voice catches on an introduction, notice what doesn't happen. No one leaves. No one recoils. Someone might even lean in. Your perceived weakness was never the villain of this story. It was a secret ally you've been fighting all along. And when the next conversation comes and you feel that familiar rise of nerve, you don't have to fight it. You can recognize it for what it actually is, not proof you're failing, but proof you're trying to connect. And brave enough to let it show. If this way of seeing yourself feels worth sitting with, subscribing is a quiet way to stay.